Hey, good morning, everybody. Big JB for Morning Thunder. It's dark out, as you can see. I've got my car light on so I can record this because I have a few minutes before I have to get on the train. I said I would follow up, and I said maybe tomorrow. I was all inspired to do that, but it didn't happen. I hear a train. It is 4 minutes late. We got a notice yesterday that because there's a Sounders FC, that's the Sounders Football Club, that's soccer, here in Seattle, that there's some celebration or whatever. So I'm concerned that the train's going to be jam-packed, but I guess I'll find out. Excuse me. So, yes, it's nice and dark, which is how I like it in the wintertime. I said that I've been dealing with a lot of stuff in regards to my wife's cancer, and seeing a professional, seeing a counselor who's been amazing and been really, really helpful. One of the things that he brought up, which has been really tough for me, we're going through quite a bit of things in relation to my wife's cancer and how I'm dealing with things. And for the most part, I think he and I agree that I'm handling things really well. But then on the other side of that, there's also the things where they're just little things that are deep enough that I want to make sure that I'm processing them. So it doesn't mean that I'm not handling them well. It just means that I need to kind of get my thoughts out, and sort of get another perspective. So one of the things that he talked about, which has been really hard for me, is this idea of powerlessness. In a lot of addiction material, like AA or anything that's based on AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, they have something where it's you have to acknowledge your own powerlessness over your addiction, meaning I can't do it by myself, which I get, and I've worked with guys before that struggle with addiction, and I understand the concept that you can't do it on your own, and I think that's really, really true. However, I hadn't even thought about that in the context of what I can and can't affect in terms of my wife's cancer. The reality is that I don't have any control over the outcome of this. I don't know that I would go so far as to say that I'm powerless, because there are some things that I can do. I can live by example. I can be willing to change diet, to exercise, to stand alongside her while she makes any of those kind of changes, and participate in what she wants to do. Any of those things are within my power to do. That doesn't mean that I have any power over my wife's body, that I have any power over my wife's cancer in and of myself. And I want to make sure that I'm being very clear about that, because medical science obviously has a great deal to say about that. I believe in the divine. I've mentioned about believing in divine healing. So those are all things that sorry, gotta adjust the camera there. Those are all things where I'm not powerless, because I can put my faith in those things, put my faith in a God who heals. I can put my belief and hope in my wife's recovery. There's a lot of things that I have the power to do, but really at the end of the day, I don't have any control over the outcome of this. So that's been an interesting concept, and that's been really tough for me to accept, because since we got the original diagnosis in 2015, my thought has been, if I do X, Y, and Z, then the outcome will be this. And a long time ago, it was a long time ago, like 8 years ago or something, where I kind of hit on this idea that, for example, if you're praying to God or you're asking for something, whether it's from God or if you believe in something else, fine, substitute that here, but that God is not a vending machine where if you put in the right amount of change and you hit the right button, you get the thing that you want. Nor is he a slot machine where you put in the coin, you pull the arm, and you hope that you get the jackpot. It just doesn't work that way with God. So it's so thinking that if I did certain things in a certain time frame or in a certain order, that I would affect the outcome, it was me trying to assert too much control over the situation. and I get that I have some issues with control, and that's longer than I have time to go into on this video. But boy, that really rattled me when he first suggested that I think about powerlessness in the context of how we're defining it here on this video. That I'm powerless to affect the outcome of this. Man, that shook me big time. But it's been a really good thought for me to have. It's been really good for me to sort of mull that over, and it's changed my perspective again, which has been really good. I mean, there have been a lot of perspective shifts over the last year. So it is time for me to wrap this up. I got to get to the train. I'm glad to say that our tree is up well before Christmas. I can't believe it's only 2 weeks away. It's amazing to me. So I hope you guys are enjoying this season immensely. I think that's going to be it for today. This has been TheBigJB. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Twitch, and like and subscribe here on YouTube. Thanks, guys. Appreciate all your comments and support. Laters.